Hello, welcome. Is this thing on? Okay, we're on. We're ready to go. This is the vinyl collection. Looking through the record shelves. Issue number 9. We've been going at this for 9 whole times. What is this? This is a live stream. We get some friends on the stream. We go through our record collection. This just started with me going through my record collection to see what's in here, to see what's inside the records, just to reconnect with the record collection. Go one by one, see what's inside, open the gatefolds, have a good smell of the vinyl, see what's in there, see what, maybe needs to get thrown out. I started at Z. I'm working my way back towards A. We're in the C's right now, so we're kind of getting there. But there is still a long ways to go. I was looking at the rest of the collection. Even though we get down to the A's, that isn't the end, because I have a whole nother shelf of stuff I haven't put away yet. I'm not good at putting stuff away or organizing. So there's a whole shelf of not put away and new stuff. So that'll be kind of like the capper of this series when we get to look at some good stuff and recently played stuff. So look forward to that. I want to say thank you to all the subscribers out there, the new subscribers that have come on. Thank you very much. If you're just happened upon this, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Helps the channel out. Lets us know if you like this kind of content, if we should keep going, what way you want the channel to go. Recently, it's turned into a bit of a Bob Dylan channel. If you like that, great. If not, what can you do? This is like you get all kinds of stuff on this channel. You get the STC podcast, that's live. You get this show, you get pickup videos, you get live music, bootleg stuff, collection videos, all kinds of stuff. So to go forward, let's talk about the vinyl collection. We're doing that. We're going to talk about music. Unfortunately, nowadays there is the world is topsy-turvy, upside down, a lot of injustice happening, not a lot of leadership. It's a mess out there. So I'm glad you guys are here to talk about music with us, because music can, it's always been there during social protest, political unease. Music has been sometimes the backbone of change, and it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. It promotes peaceful protest and peaceful transition of change. And it's always been there. And I'm not going to have a big speech about what's going on or give my views or anything like that. But you guys know I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. He denies it, but he's a big part of the protest movement in the 60s, protest music. And so I'm around all that stuff that came around with him, Pete Seeger, Woody Guthrie, Joan Baez. And so I usually start the show with something special to me. So I'm going to start it this time with a video. And I mentioned Joan Baez. She's been a proponent of peaceful protest for as long as she's been around. She's always done it. She's been there with MLK. She's the Million Man March. She was in a basement in Vietnam during the Christmas bombings. She's always laid it on the line. So I'm going to start with that tonight, with a song that Pete Seeger made a hit out of it called We Shall Overcome. I'm going to play that and then just give you my thoughts on what Pete Seeger thought that song meant to him. And yeah, we'll go from there. Enjoy. So there you have it. There's Joan singing "We Shall Overcome," and Pete Seeger made a hit out of that. People tried to trip him up, asked him, what are you trying to overcome? Just what are you trying to do? Trying to make him, say something like he wants to rise violently against the man. And he would just answer, as Pete Seeger would say, it means the entire world will overcome our tendencies to solve our problems we will overcome our tendencies to solve our problems with killing and learn to work together to bring this world together. That's a quote from Pete Seeger at 90 years old. So wise guy for sure. So let's get this show on the road. Enough of the heavy stuff. Let's start having some fun. Let's talk about some records. This is a live show. This is a live stream. If you're in the chat, feel free to chat away. We are going to pay attention to the chat. We will talk to you about it. And I will also put the link to the show in there. So if you feel like jumping in and saying hi, you just hit that link and away you go. As long as you have a microphone of some sort, your earbuds, your headphones that your phone came with, you'll be in the show. You can say hi. Anyways, I'm sorry if that video seemed choppy, if that didn't work. Producer Jay in the chat is saying the audio was choppy. I don't doubt it. I'm surprised my computer didn't explode. However, it's not just me on this show. You came to see who the vinyl pundits are, and we got a huge lineup tonight. Let me see here. First of all, we got Birthday Boy. We got a Birthday Boy joining the chat, Matt Bandy.
Hello there.
There he is. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was a couple days ago, but I appreciate the sentiments.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, I got one more good year in me, and then it's downhill.
Ah, really?
Mm-hmm.
So what's that mean? You're 49?
Yeah, 39.
Oof.
Yep, 39.
Yep. Well, you're looking great, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
Next up, this guy usually calls into our show, but he's a pretty big star, so we thought we should up him in the lineup. Let's get him on board. We got none other than Chris Roberts, the vinyl legend, Chris Roberts.
Well, I got to come in before Mars. He always gets to follow me, so perfect spot. Just slide me in there.
Got to. I should say our regular contributor, Jake from Polykill Podcast, he won't be joining us tonight, unfortunately. But we're lucky enough to have Chris Roberts come in. So that's what's happening there. And finally, the famous from the Blu-ray collection community. I found out he's a huge member over there, the Blu-ray collection community. We got Buried on Mars from the Retro Fandango Podcast.
Oh,
hey!
I got my bandana.
Finally.
I hope I'm wearing it right.
That's good. It's like a babushka.
Yes, that's the look I was going for. Babushka. I don't know how you guys wear these things. I'm sweating. It is way too hot. In fact,
I see.
That's it. I think that's it. I got to take it off already. Oh, that's better.
Well, you shaved. You don't have your beard anymore.
No, this thing's warm though.
It's like he's growing it in.
Well, I got to leave a little bit of stubble for the wife.
Oh, no. On the thumbnail, you got a nice, full, thick beard.
I don't know what was going on with that thumbnail. I don't But yeah, let me get some things out of the way, please. Happy birthday, Matt Bandy. Happy birthday, Techno Dork. Thanks, Bill, for having me on. It's good times. And Trump's an asshole. All right, let's go. I mean, who does that? Really? Who does that? Come on. Who does that? Let's throw some tear gas at some people so I can walk across the street. What a nice guy.
I can't even form words about his leadership. It is
leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership.
Yeah.
You don't think he's an avid Bible reader?
No. Oh, that was the best when someone asked him if that was his Bible, and he said, it's a Bible.
Right.
You can't write that stuff. If you wrote that into a comedy skit, they would cross it off and say, no, that's just too corny.
Hey,
Nobody would say that.
He's got good comebacks. Good for him.
I've been away from the news for a couple days. We had a couple days off, and I work for a 24-hour news channel. So when my days off happen, I don't want any news, and I try and stay away from it. But you got to get some of it.
I get up in the morning and I watch a little bit, and then it's like that's it for the rest of the day, because it will just be, you can get sucked in, and it's just all day. You know, you got somebody in the morning from on the Canadian side. It would either be a mayor or something like that, and then Doug Ford comes on, or no, Doug Ford comes on at like 1 o'clock. So then you got either Cuomo in the morning, or then Trudeau comes on, and then his team comes on, and then you could just sit there all day just listening to all these reports and everything. And yeah, got to do something else. You know, get sucked into that cycle.
All I do is watch your unboxing videos.
Those are good times, man. That's some fun. Yeah,
I'm ready to unbox a Blu-ray.
Yeah. Well, my next unboxing video is going to be something else. God, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your hats, because it's going to be something else.
Wow, that Blu-ray community needs that kind of stuff. So
yeah. They're a good bunch of dudes there. They're a lot nicer than the video game community.
I get that. Yeah, for sure.
What? You don't like this movie? Oh, that's okay.
They seem very
well berate me and tell me I'm not watching the movie right? Isn't that what communities do?
Well, hey to Stephen in the chat. Hope Kevin doesn't read it.
Oh, geez, come on, Steven. The broken toys. You know, actually, Valley Village is probably doing the right thing and probably still closed, not letting Steven in.
Yeah, no, they're open. They are open
in BC, maybe. Yeah, not here though, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, how would you know that, Bill?
I work for a 24-hour news channel, and I get my news. I'm not telling you anything.
That's at least that's smart. At least that's smart.
Before we get going, let's have the chat has put a question out for us. So let's get that going before we miss it. From producer Jay Techno Dork. What's the main method you guys grow your collection? As in, are you all about acquisition, or do you have a top number of records? So, Matt Bandy, what do you think?
So what's the question again? I'm kind of confused on what he's asking there.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. What's the main method you guys grow your collection?
Is he maybe asking like, where do you source your records from?
Where do you get things?
Like your main method, you guys, to grow your collection. The way I took it was where are you getting your stuff,
or is it about just getting as much as you can? Or
well, there might be that too. Or yeah, are you? Is it more curated? Are you going for price? I mean, we can answer all the questions. Why not?
Yeah. I don't think there is ever enough music to be had. I think my collection is just going to grow and has been growing my entire life. I've never not. Once I got into music, I was like, "This is it. I'm down, for life," type of thing. As far as collecting music, where I get my music from, if first and foremost, I try to go try to buy directly from the artist, and if I can't do that, I will go to my local independent record store. So that's how I get my stuff, and sometimes I'll buy online through other record collectors using Discogs, or I'll do trades with other people. But that's first and foremost, I try to support the artist first by buying directly through them and from them.
Kevin?
Wherever I can get a deal, really. There's a bunch of record shows down here in Southern Ontario. I do like hitting those up, and my wife and I will make, she's into record collecting as well, so we'll make a day out of it. We'll take a day trip to Oshawa, which is like 30-40 minutes away, and there's a couple of stores there. Some of it is Amazon, but yeah, mostly the record show is like for finding stuff on the cheap, like, oh, I want to try this, I want to listen to this. Like, you can find stuff for $1 or $2, and then you might be able to find some stuff that you're looking for in your collections. And then Amazon's like, that's retail, right? So it's better be something that you really want. I wait for prices to drop before I pick up anything. I generally don't pay, like, I'll pay around $20 for a brand new single LP, and I'll go up to 30 for a double LP. But if it's anything more than that, I won't touch it, unless it's like something I really, really want. But there is hardly anything I really, really want anymore. I'm just, and I got my guys. I got my, like, I collect for, like, you know, I got a couple of albums that I need left for AC/DC, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Neil Young, Eric Clapton. Like, those are my, like, I try to get complete collections of the artists that I like, even though, like, but if they have some dogs, like some albums that I don't care for or whatever, I won't buy them. I'll just, you know, I'll be okay if it's not, like, it's got to be all the albums that I like, that I want. But I still don't have, like, all the Judas Priest. I don't have all the Iron Maiden. I don't have all the AC/DC that I want. I'm actually missing a couple of albums that we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I do it. And then if somebody recommends something to me, like
And
Matt
Chris
Bandy,
Roberts.
sorry,
Oh, true.
I almost, yeah.
Hey, whatever. Just shut up, Kevin. He's done with you. No.
Yeah, I know. I made it sound like I wrapped up, and I kept going. Howard Stern
Right.
does that too, right? He's like, okay, and then we're going to break, and then he starts talking.
Yeah,
And he's like,
exactly. He does. As far as which ones I want in my collection, is mostly stuff that really has more of a personal meaning to me. I'm not trying to just get anything. Usually just albums that I like, or particular covers. Though I do have tons of filler in my current collection because of, you know, just people giving them to me, bundle deals, stuff like that. I think eventually what I would like to have is just a decent size, you know, maybe 100 records or less of just things I really like. And as far as where I source them from, I'm more on the cheap end. I mean, if I was at a thrift store or something, or even a record store, and if it was something I really wanted and the price was right, and or it was really clean, I'd buy it there. But I'm usually getting them at swap meets and yard sales, thrift stores, stuff like that. So, but to me, it's kind of part of the fun. I mean, I'm really looking. I'm not as I put that legend thing in there as a joke, because I'm actually the most novice out of everybody here. Like, I'm more into just getting the things that I like, and I don't know all the backstories, which prints they are. I mean, it's not too hard to figure it out, I guess, but mostly just into things that I like, and if they're cheap.
Yeah, cheapness was why I collected records for a lot of time. It was filling in artists that I didn't want to spend the full price on the CD. So if I could find it cheaper on a record, I'd pay for the record. And of course, early on, it was a lot of just, if it's super cheap, I'll just buy anything. Yard sales or record shows like Kevin's talking about, all that. And then within the last 5, 7, 8 years, my collection grew to where my shelves that had the dedicated storage for the records, they're full. So I'm like, I'm out. It's got to be something special, you know, a new Bob record, or I subscribe to Third Man Records quarterly record club. And they send me out a package quarterly. So it was going to be just that. And then recently I've reorganized my shelves and created more space. So I do have the freedom now to buy a bit more stuff. And so when yard sales happen, that kind of thing, I can go a little bit more crazy. And for record store day, I've been purchasing quite a bit on record store days too. So you'll see that down the way. We got that coming. That's in the miscellaneous shelf. So yeah. That's it for that. Techno Dork has another question, but geez, we haven't even shown a record yet, and we're 20 minutes in. So how about we get some records flying here first? How about I start? You want me to start?
sure.
Sounds good to me.
The fans want it.
The fans want it. Do you remember what my preview was?
I wrote it down.
Matt Bandy's breathing is like a hurricane on that microphone.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it is very loud. I wasn't going to be the guy to say it, but it is. Yeah.
I thought I wrote it down. I guess I didn't. Oh, it wasn't that interesting. I thought I would. Oh yeah, Alice Cooper. AC. I did write it down. I wrote AC.
That's really cool.
And I just started watching a new documentary that's out there called Laurel Canyon. It's on our movie channels here in Canada, and it's on Epix, I think, in the States. It's a 2-part documentary or something. They go in depth about the artists who lived in Laurel Canyon. Of course, Alice Cooper was there. Whoa. Heyo. It's coming out. Wants to come out.
Easy access.
Now, this record, I remember getting this. I found it at a Salvation Army, which typically has the worst quality records. And, but because of what it was, I had to pick it up anyways. It's not in good shape. I'm sure the vinyl is trash. It opens like this. Oh, it's not bad. It's actually, that's fine. That's quite playable. Let's just put that aside. So this would have come with, as Kevin mentioned last week, it would have had paper panties in there too. And this opens up like this. So this can be your school desk. Yeah, like this.
Which is really cool. Weird marketing to kids who don't want to be in school. You can play school at home.
And then it opens up like a school desk, right? And then you got all your school desk stuff in there. So a lot of the re-releases of this is just a regular album cover. So that's why I ended up picking this up, even though it is very well used. That doesn't smell funky. So great album.
Did you have a desk like that when you were in grade school?
I think for 1 year, maybe. The one that opened like that, which is a pain because then you got to take all your crap off to open your desk to get at your stuff.
Yeah, but you know what's cool is when you had the desk that did the pop up, but it had the little had a little bar in it. You could flip it down. So then you can sneak your hand in and out, or if you had a little handheld game, you can teacher come up and go back in. Yeah, they had a little deal in the front. I forget what it's called, but yeah.
Underneath there's gum under the desk.
Yeah, that's all gross.
Yeah, Bill grew up in rich southern Ontario, so they got rid of those desks and gave him brand new desks. In northern Ontario, where I grew up, I had those all the way up to grade 8 until I got out of elementary school and high school.
I hated those because the bar was attached to the desk, so you couldn't move your chair.
Yep.
Brutal.
Yeah, that does suck.
For some reason, that's it for the Alice Cooper. There must be more showing up later in the shelves because I know I definitely have more than that. But I'll just keep going with some further C's. Harry Chapin.
Yeah, everybody knows Harry Chapin.
Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
Let's see what's in here. There he is. Fist Pump. Just got a birdie.
Yeah, ironically, my dad would play that song a lot when I was a kid, and then eventually he left the family. So, yeah. It's true. It's all right. When I talk to him now, it's, hey, I'm not going to throw the ball with you now, dude.
It's a great Bandy reaction. That's all. This vinyl looks good. 2 sleeves, guys.
Wow.
How about that? Like top-notch sleeves here. Electra Records. Harry Chapin. Yeah, not too shabby.
You see what happens when you keep your records in sleeves? They stay
nice.
nice.
Now, I have one more thing to show you guys. Something just came in yesterday. It's not what you're hoping. It kind of is, but not 100%.
Oh, there you go. Oh, outer sleeves.
Got more outer sleeves. The inner ones are en route.
Oh, never mind. I take back my applause. I actually need some more of those.
They are coming. I finally said, piss on it. I'll order it, even though they weren't like a Prime thing from Amazon. So they're coming from some seller, right? And God knows when they'll get here. So anyways, there's a couple records from me. Who's next? Who wants to start off today? Who's excited?
I'll go first. Let me show something. I'll go first. But you know what? I'm gonna break the rule here, and I'm gonna show you something that is vinyl adjacent. So this isn't a record, but this is what I use to listen to my records on. So these are my headphones. They are. Let me see if I can pronounce this. I always mess it up. Sennheiser. And I've had these for a few years. This is the most I've ever spent on headphones. But yeah, they sound great, and I like to use over-the-ear headphones, especially when I'm listening to a record for the first time. This is kind of my go-to, and that's what I use. Do you guys use headphones when you listen to music, or do you have it on the stereo? What do you like to do?
I rarely get a chance to
I like
sit
both.
in front of my amplifier with headphones and just listen. So it's pretty rare I get to put on the cans to listen to something. It is the best way, of course, but
Yeah.
oftentimes I'll be spinning a record if I'm doing something else. So
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the same for me. But like I said, like when I try to, the first time I get a new record, the first listen, I try to have a proper listen to it like that, where I could just sit down and have no other distractions.
yeah, and Sennheiser, they had a great name for a while there, and they're still okay. They're still fine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I got Shure's myself. These were my most expensive headphones, and they are great. But yeah, it's crazy spending that kind of money on headphones. It's not even that expensive when you look at expensive headphones.
Yeah. So these were recommended to me by another audiophile friend of mine, and I said, "What's a good baseline, for a good sound for a good price?" And these were what were recommended to me. So, yeah.
Does it have the removable wire?
No, it does not. They're not wireless.
Yeah. If you're looking for a nice headset, what always breaks the wire. So this unplugs here. You can unplug that. The ear cups are replaceable. And the only thing that's degrading now is the top of the headband. And I don't know if that's replaceable, like the inside leather area here. But it's really good if you can get ones that unplug here. Anyways, Kevin, what about your headphone action?
No, I have an old pair of Sony headphones that I bought, I don't know, 30 years ago. I still just use those. The padding is starting to come undone. It's actually the ones that I don't know if you listen to Fandango, but Richard and I kind of have the same headphones, and we complain about the same thing, how the padding's starting to rip off of them. But I just haven't felt like the need to replace them because I hardly ever listen to records on the headphones. I got my nice speakers, and I just crank it in the house. I don't have any kids or anything to worry about, so and usually Sarah and I are listening to music together. So,
but yeah, I'm with Bandy with over the ear. I really enjoy over the ear cups. Yeah. About you, Chris Roberts?
Oh yeah, I like over the ear. I mean, I'm normally will just listen through the speakers because if I have company or if I'm not in a situation where being that close to the stereo is convenient, but it does sound a whole lot better. I mean, you can hear things that you can't normally hear, which is pretty cool. So, but I don't have top of the line. I mean, I have some Beats by Dre, but it was just because I got them for like $2 at a sale.
Shocking.
They're pretty good though. Yeah, they're good. There's this locally there was this like a electronic dump kind of area that these guys would they would buy basically every time you send something back to a store, right? Let's say you take something back to Costco or Best Buy. Once they get reimbursed from the company, they have to store it for a certain amount of time. They don't actually send it back to wherever they got it from, and they get a credit. And eventually these things end up in big bins somewhere, and they get auctioned off. Well, this one place in town started bringing in all this stuff, and it was like a bonanza, man. I made probably like $1,000 in a week, just like off $10. Like, it was crazy just buying all this crap. But initially I thought they probably didn't work, and some of them didn't. Remarkably, they actually still have a resale value broken. But I came across just like a little pile of Beats by Dre and various ones, like some first gen, some third gen. And anyways, I kept a couple, and they sound really good, but I don't think I doubt they're on par with some of the higher end ones. But I guess when you don't know the difference, it doesn't matter, right?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can find headphones that are, vintage ones that are still working, they will sound great. Even new headphones, they have a break-in period. So, like,
I do actually regret that. One day, years ago, I bought some old electronics from a guy who was probably like ahead of the curve in his day, and probably like the late 70s, early 80s. Everything he had was expensive at one time. I got a nice receiver off him and some other things. And one of them was a pair of vintage headphones. And instead of keeping them, because they had like the bigger fitting, you can get an adapter, or if your receiver will take the bigger input jack. Anyways, I ended up selling them, but years later, I looked back and I thought, oh man, those would have been so cool to have. I was listening to something similar to this show, and they were actually talking. I don't even remember the name now, but they were talking about those particular headphones, and I was like, oh, that's why they sold so fast. So, oh well. Next one.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I'm holding out for as well, is try to find some vintage headphones when I go to thrift stores, whatever. I did find a pair one time that looked, I can't remember the brand name it was, but I was frantically like looking them up on my phone, because they were only $10. And they were cool. They were green, that 70s green that was popular then. And I'm like, oh man, these would look so cool on my head. And as I'm looking on my phone and I'm looking at the thing, I like you were saying, the wire that goes to the headphones was just completely shredded, like some cat ate it or something like that. I'm like, yeah, well, that's why these are here. And I'm
right.
Really
that's why someone else didn't grab them already.
Exactly. So
estate sales are really good for stuff like that, though, because if you can get to an early part of an estate sale, go with the agenda that's the part of the house that you're shooting for. They typically will put their electronics, and they usually, not many of them leave it where they are. A lot of times they'll bundle it up and put them on certain tables and stuff like that. So go straight for the electronics section. And a lot of times you will find stuff like that. Headphones, old. Matter of fact, that's where I got that vinyl brush this weekend, was at an estate sale. And it was sitting right there in the electronics section. Of course, mine's much better than Bill's, I'm sure, but has to be.
Those are shit, the one you got.
Yeah, are they? I don't know. Hey, I guess it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I got a couple of vintage headphones. One thing you got to worry about, though, they are super heavy, so you get a bit of strain, from having them on your head for too long. So we are 32 minutes, 2 records shown.
Well, we did a lot of talking about records. So.
There's still a question queued up in the chat too, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Hi to Rocket Sauce showing up in the chat.
Oh wow!
Hey Sauce. Do you have a record you want to do, Bandy, or was that it? Just
no, you're out. Yeah, you can go on. Yeah.
Okay. Damn it, Chris Roberts left. I would have loved to have Kevin follow Chris Roberts, but
he's back.
Right yeah, no, sorry.
Good. Chris Roberts, what do you got for us?
I just wanted to show my little brush here.
Oh,
and it's never been used either. It's still brand new in the package. It was $1. Oh, sure. I mean, I can.
Yeah, those are fine. If you got nothing else to clean your records with, those are fine.
Right. Yeah, that was the point. I had nothing. And, if I got a little more into it, it's kind of neat because it has this little, I guess it's self-contained. And I was looking at the instructions, and after you, so I guess the way to do it according to the instructions is you put your, turn on an album and or turn a record on, and you just stick this on top of it as it's playing. And apparently, it picks up the dust that accumulates in the grooves, and then when you're done, you can just close it, and it has a brush inside of the brush that brushes off the lint or whatever that you picked up. So it's pretty neat. I mean, Realistic, I believe Realistic was maybe it was a Radio Shack brand or something like that. But
oh yeah,
apparently, I mean, it's a little on the cheaper end of stuff. I mean, it definitely what, but it has its own collectability. I have sold a lot of Realistic items for a lot more than I thought I was going to get for them when I bought them. A lot of they made a lot of like stuff for guitars and stuff like that, and just audio equipment in general. But that's what I got. So that's my first contribution, and I'll go into, I guess, maybe I'll pull out one album. get it going. I did a soundtrack last week, or maybe a couple, and this is a one that's kind of funny because I mean, yes, it is a soundtrack, but it almost feels like the movie was a soundtrack for this, considering how well the album did. But get the old Saturday Night Fever for all you disco fans out there.
Nice.
My mom has that.
Yeah, it's definitely you know, it's one of those time capsule kind of things. I mean, disco had its moment. It was very huge at the time. It's a pretty good little thing. I mean, you get to see you know, I think John Travolta's got a little cigarette in here somewhere. I was looking at. Anyway, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Not the best shape as far as the overall the cover goes, but the vinyl itself was in pretty good condition. They probably they fell out of love with disco, I'm guessing, because these. Well, okay, I take it back. This one does look like shit. But anyway, that one's not too bad. I must have looked at the other one first. It's a double album. Pretty good though. I mean, if you're into disco, this was probably one of the crown jewels of disco at the time. Was this album?
Was that all Bee Gees tracks, or was there other songs on that too?
No, there's other songs. It's the soundtrack for the whole. I'm looking at it. It's got Kool and the Gang. I mean, I'm assuming anything that was played during the movie is probably on this, considering it's a double album. But
Frankie Valli's on there.
He's got to be on here somewhere, I'm sure.
Grease is the word.
And it was.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm thinking Grease. I'm thinking of the soundtrack of Grease.
Well, whatever. It's all right. I wasn't going to bury you there, buddy.
My mom played both of those endlessly, so they all got mixed.
That was a very good soundtrack, too. I mean, if you like that music. I remember as a kid loving Grease. Anyway, I got the VHS over here if you guys want to.
Oh, no. Yeah. We'll have a watch party later.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So there you go. I hope Chris Roberts' fan is happy with that opening foray.
Hey, at least I got a fan. I don't see anybody in the chat clamoring for you, Bill.
No way.
Yeah, so.
No way.
It's got a pretty good channel. I don't know if you clicked on the link, but it was pretty entertaining. I watched a couple of videos.
For sure, she's got a crazy collection.
A crazy collection. That whole room looks like my NES set, except bigger. It's insane.
That's the vinyl guru is Chris Roberts.
Yes.
Fan. Check her out. Kevin Buried on Mars. What you got for us?
Oh boy, where to start? Well, I did find my Jimi Hendrix and BB King bootleg. I had a whole other shelf of Jimi Hendrix, so that's where that was. I couldn't find it, but I think mine looks different from yours.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So this is a Buried on Mars special. So you must have did a special. There's the source is Shin, SHN. You got BB on the inside there. So there, I did. I got that one. I found that one. And then did you have this one, Jimi Hendrix with Traffic?
No.
Session? Yeah.
No.
That one's good times.
What is that? Just like a studio outtakes, or is it?
They just got together and jam. That's what you did in the 60s, man. You got together and jam. So Traffic was oh geez, I'm blanking on his name.
Winwood?
Yeah.
Steve Winwood, yeah.
Yeah. So they got
That'd
together
be
with
awesome.
Jim. Yeah. Look at the last session. It's just called, so you only got 3 tracks on here. You got jam thing, guitar thing, and session thing. And look how long the session thing is. That's a session. You're going to be there for a while. So that's good times. And this is in the same vein. This is an official bootleg. It's called Jimi Hendrix Bleeding Heart. Now, just bear with me for a second here. Just check out the lineup on here. So Jimi Hendrix is on guitar. You got, so Jimi Hendrix is recording vocals and guitar. Recording, that's an instrument, I guess. On rhythm guitar, you got Johnny Winter. On bass, you got some guy called Rudy Hubbs. And then you got Randy Z on drums. And then check this out. On harmonica, vocals, abuse, obscenities, and mumbling is Jim Morrison.
Oh, nice.
This is recorded live at the Scene, New York City, 1968. And it seems like it's all like songs I've never heard of. just stuff that they're making up. There is Red House on here that opens up then it just goes off the rails. My favorite track on here, though, is number 6. It's called Uranus Rock. Uranus Rock. The infamous Uranus Rock track.
I watched a concert of his my last overnight shift. It was Hendrix at the Royal Albert, I think. I can't remember what year it was, but man, it was killer. Holy shit.
Royal Albert. I might have that somewhere. I might have it. I got a whole bunch of other bootlegs too, but those were the interesting ones that I had found.
Cool.
And I'll have vinyl on the next round. We'll get back to the AC/DC vinyl.
All right. Well, let's hit that question now, guys. Well, we got a second. Producer Jay asked, does the price of records fluctuate like other collector items, such as rare live concert recordings? What's your experience with that? Kevin, you go to these record shows.
Well, the short answer is yes. It kind of depends on what it is. It's like anything, supply and demand, right? Generally, when if you're talking used records, they'll generally will jump up when somebody dies. Like Tom Petty was dirt. You could go in the cheap bin and you could find Tom Petty, especially his not Full Moon Fever, but the other earlier one.
Torpedoes?
Yeah, that one. You find that for $1 because it just sold a bajillion copies, and there was a bajillion copies out there. But as soon as he died, that was it. That was a minimum for a very good copy, $15 and up. And all of his other stuff, like people just started collecting it. Neil Peart died. Rush is like so easy to get. You know, before he passed away, it was like, again, those were dollar records. But once he passed away, it's just on everybody's mind. As for new records, I find that you could normally just wait for a sale. It's like anything, like even like new video games or whatever. They come out, they're a certain price. Like right now, like I showed the Rush 40th anniversary edition of that album, Hemispheres, and Permanent Waves just came out last week. You can buy it right now for $60, but I'll just wait for Black Friday, and I'll be able, probably if it's still available, be able to get it on a deal. So yes, yeah, it does fluctuate.
Techno Dork had a follow-up point to that. He asked if there's a vinyl Earthbound. So I'm assuming something that was plentiful that maybe didn't sell well, but people hoard it because it's perceived goodness or something like that. Maybe
no,
is there something
it's not,
that you would equate to that?
No, because I don't think that really like YouTube kind of messed up video games, right? And people just showing video game footage and all that, and holding it up and saying this thing is rare. And I don't think vinyl really has that. There are a lot of stuff that is like, if you get right into the weeds and serial numbers and you want the first edition and the mono edition and all that, yeah, there's tons of it, especially those old, like if you get into the old records that broke easy, those old shellac records that you could just, you know, they're rare. Like you could get into all of that, but I find that really like people just want a copy of the record, right? And in video games, the Super Nintendo had that 5-year window, right? Whereas Jimi Hendrix came out in the 60s, and those records were printed in the 70s and in the 80s. So you had like a 25-year span of people buying those records. So, and I find for the most part, unless you're like right into like you want a copy from 1967, you know, for, like you can get into all that, but if you just want a copy, you know, it's not like video games, I don't find anyways. Well,
you do have like the Holy Grail vinyl albums. There are a few select ones that are worth, you know, $30,000, $50,000. Like the Beatles Butcher cover is one example. So you have those kind of records where they're misprints or they were changed out mid-run, where the original run of it becomes highly rare and sought after. And even that, in that case, the Beatles cover, you know, they tried to change the cover midstream. So some of the original cover made it out there. That's one state. And then the second state is some of the albums made it out and they just put a sticker over the original cover. And that's a second state. The third state of that album is people that actually removed that sticker, but you could tell there was a sticker on it. That's a third state of value. So that record has four different states of value if you can consider its final release. And there's some Bob ones. We'll get into that when I get into the Bob thing. There's a Bowie we can talk about coming up. That's worth a little bit if I get down to the B's. But seems we've only shown 3 records so far. Don't know. But yeah, so there's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but don't you find for the most part though, people just really care about having the record to listen to, you know, like even like reissues, like stuff is getting issued again too, right? Like nobody's making brand new I'm pretty sure there are some brand new Super Nintendo games, but no one's like reprinting Earthbound or whatever. But you can get a reissue of a Jimi Hendrix record right now, and you're not going to be spending $1 bajillion on it. It's only if you get really into that collectors.
Yeah. Well, again, with the Beatles stuff, right? Their original pressings have mixes that only occurred on those pressings, and then the reissues had different mixings. So like a purist wants to have that original one with the original weirdo mix. So there's that. Matt Bandy, got anything to add?
Yeah, Kevin pretty much summed it up there, but I found that sometimes price on records, especially if it's a small band that kind of becomes a cult band, and then they blow up and they're no longer a band, and they, you know, their first run, they put out only a couple albums and they're hard to find, and they're, you know, super expensive. There is a band out of Canada called Tales of Medusa, and they put out a super limited amount of records. They didn't sell these records; they only gave them out, and those are like insanely difficult to buy and to come by, because the people that have them don't want to get rid of them. And that is the only way you can listen to that record. They're not streaming anywhere. They're not even on Bandcamp. And it's unfortunate because the music is good. There's a few, you can listen to it on YouTube, but as far as like owning a digital copy, they won't release it in a digital format. So it just depends on, you know, yeah, like Kevin said, it's all supply and demand. And initially, I see sometimes if there's a band that's real hot and they put out a new record and it's a, you know, limited release, at first it's going to be real expensive, and then after a few years, when no one cares anymore, you can pick it up for a cheaper price.
Yeah, actually, I got 2 more stories to add to this whole subject, and Matt Bandy just brings up something that popped in my memory. My last overnight shift, I was shopping all over the world for Uncle Acid records, and those are stupid expensive, and you can't get them anywhere.
Yeah, that's stuff like that. Like that record label that they're on, they don't do a large print runs on their stuff, so you got to kind of be on it. You got to be in the know and be on it, unfortunately. Totally.
Everyone that says they sold it, they're all out of stock. Amazon price is really expensive on it. You buy from the label, the UK label, that's to get it over here, and the conversion rate is insane. But there's another story of lost records that is crazy rare and hard to find, and ultimately super expensive. And it's a Jack White thing. Maybe you guys heard about it before, when he had a small band called the Upholsterers. Mm-hmm. He was a furniture upholsterer for a while. He worked, upholstering furniture. And the guy he was working with, they had a little band, and they pressed, I think, less than 100 records, but they didn't sell them. They would sneak them into the couches they were upholstering, and they didn't tell anybody. No one knows. And so the only way that these have been found is like if it happened to get ripped by accident and someone puts their hand in between the foam and pulls out a record, because no one knows where these are. They could all be in the dump by now. No one knows. I think only 2 have been found up to this moment in time. It's just a crazy story.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
We also we talked about this before in the past too, but those early 90s records when CDs had taken over. Like I know people that they like, even if the record has been reissued or whatever, they want those early 90s original copies of, like, there's some AC/DC fans that want, like, Ballbreaker came out in 1995. There are people that want a copy that came out in 1995 and they're looking for it. It's on their want list. And I don't know why. You can just go to Amazon and get one that was reissued in 2003. No problem. But they want that 1995 one for some reason. So those records get pretty crazy expensive too.
All right. Are we done? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me continue then. I've been looking at this, wondering why I have it. Maybe you guys can shed some light on this. Maybe I kept it because it's got to be the oldest record I have.
Jimmy Clanton. Venus in Blue Jeans.
Venus in Blue Jeans. Yeah. It's a clean cut kid.
How's it sound?
I don't know.
Of course not. Why would you listen to it? Why would you listen to it?
I'm not saying I haven't. I said I don't remember. I've kept this for a reason. I don't know why. You got the old ew. Yeah, it's that old, really heavy, rigid style vinyl. It's pretty dusty. Ace Records. Ace Records, Vincent Building, Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Maybe I looked it up once and it was worth something. That's why I kept it. The write-up here is by Barbara Hanna. Is that any relation to Hanna-Barbera? I don't know. That's the only Jimmy Clanton record I have.
Shocking.
Ooh, we got some fun seas now. Fun in the seas. We got some country music. Good country. Good country in the seas.
Here we go.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Got some Johnny Stash at San Quentin.
Boy Named Sue.
That's right.
Is that the Merle Haggard? Was that one of those shows?
Yeah, that's which one? Oh, still
Like
has
in prison?
Yeah, he was in prison. Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Still has the shrink on there.
Nice.
Still got the shrink, but someone stole the.
Yeah.
It's still good. Still good condition. It's really nice. Pretty good. Columbia Records. Said Johnny, do more prison stuff. We love it. I got to see Johnny Cash at our big national fair one year at the CNE. And it was a free concert because that's what you get at the CNE.
Nice.
So I had Johnny and the wife was there. Well, her whole family did took a whole turn at the mic.
Nice.
Orange Blossom Special. Again, he's still with Columbia. This is monaural, so that's good. Again, so the Orange Blossom left without the. Yeah, it's surviving. It's a survivor right there.
If only there was a way to replace those, right?
It's happening. It's happening in the future.
I'm hoping you're marking all these down so you know which ones.
I know. I got to go back.
Well, I mean,
I
think you maybe mark down the ones that have the. Might be a little easier.
Yeah.
Good one, Matt Bandy. You got Johnny Cash today off of. This is Canadian Special right there. Whoop, wrong corner. KTEL. Distributed by KTEL International out of Winnipeg. And man, they packed the songs on this. 12 songs per side.
KTEL was a Canadian company?
I guess so.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
What,
Is there a fire somewhere?
I think someone's taking a bus.
No, I've told you this every time I've been on. There's a electronic clock that states the time.
Oh,
Look at all those
Sorry,
bands.
I guess I could take it out of the room, but
Wow, they really packed the tracks on there.
jeez.
Look at that. Look at that. How fast is that last song?
Don't sneeze next to that record.
So this says there's an 8x10 color photo in here, but it is not. It went with the sleeve, wherever that went. And then, ooh, this is neat. This is neat, guys. Got Johnny Cash with the Tennessee 2 on Sun Records.
Nice.
Look at that. Staring you down. It is a greatest hits compilation, but it's kind of cool to see that Sun Record album or label. I think someone took the marker to it here for some reason. Nice. And yeah, it's got a sleeve. It's a very flimsy vinyl, super thin, but it does look good. There's the Sun Record label.
Now, is there a difference in quality of sound if the vinyl is thinner or thicker? Do you notice?
I don't. Not. It's not supposed to. It's what it does is it will sit. The thicker the record, the better it'll sit on the platter, and so it won't be susceptible to outside vibration and shock.
Okay. Super thin.
Just stop doing that.
And your needle will sit in the groove better.
Okay, I got you.
You think a thicker record would have better grooves, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Johnny Cash again. Which one is this? This is Johnny Cash on Harmony, product of Columbia Records. So I bet he wasn't happy that he got dumped off to a smaller version of Columbia for this. It's got 9-pound hammer on it, long black veil. I Still Miss Someone. It's got big hits on there.
I Still Miss Someone is a good song.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's, good shape. Not bad. It's just dusty. It's got the stamped in the matrix there, not handwritten code. And finally, for Johnny Cash, which everyone knows that one.
Very nice.
That's the one right there.
That's the one, Folsom Prison. Handwritten note on the back there. Produced by Bob Johnson, who Columbia producer, did a lot of Bob stuff. Got something. The glue's coming out a little bit there. It's got a nice sleeve. And this sleeve shows a lot of love for the record. I don't know why that's there. Look at that. It's mixed together so neatly it looks like one big band. Because it's pretty continuous with the crowd chatter. Although this side you can see the bands.
Mm-hmm. Might have been Love's record.
Or the sleeve belonged to the group Love. And got swapped out for this. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a mystery we'll never know. That's it for my Johnny Cash. That was a fun ride. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's in stereo, that Folsom. Okay. So, who's next? Matt Bandy?
Yeah, I'll show some records finally. So, I'm going to show you my entire collection of pop records here. I don't have very many. Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Oh, hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah. So this record was pretty much what got me into to hip hop. And before I heard this record, this was another kind of game changer for me as far as getting me into this type of music, and that is 36 Chambers, Enter the Wu-Tang by Wu-Tang Clan. This, I think I was shown this when I was probably in 8th grade, and this was so different from the other hip hop that I'd heard at the time. This, with the all the different old kung fu samples and the minimalistic beats, and the production on it too was real like almost kind of lo-fi. And just the fact that there were so many guys that were in the band, and all the nicknames, and it was just kind of a lot of. For me, it was kind of pre-internet, and there was a lot of kind of mystery around the band, and So no liner notes or anything, but. This is not an original copy. I think I picked this up at a local record shop. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. But this came out in '93, and this was my introduction into a little more underground hip hop. And then this one here, my next one. Like I said, I don't have a lot. I got 2 records. If you guys are familiar with the band Two Live Crew.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Chris, you might know this.
Of course.
Do you know this guy, Luke? Uncle Luke?
Oh, yeah. After he got sued, he had to change his name.
Yeah. So this is a real nostalgic record for me. This came out in '96, and one of my best friends at the time was. We would listen to this a bunch, and back then was pretty good. There you go, Bill.
Whoa.
And my favorite track on this is a song called "Asshole Naked," and it features. It features Ice Cube of various, from NWA and his
Solo work.
But this has like a weird kind of almost dancey mix to it, like club kind of music, like more like DJ type hip hop stuff. But
well, Miami had a different kind of rap scene.
Yeah,
they were the Miami rap, which is where Luther Campbell's based from. Yeah, it had a different kind of sound than the East Coast or the Northeast hip hop. Yeah,
but this is just pure nostalgia for me, and if you haven't heard this, you should check out that Asshole Naked. It's funny.
Yeah.
Have you heard this at all?
Yeah. If you're asking me, I'm sure Kevin has it in his car on the CD, but for sure. I was a big Two Live Crew fan. I had all their early cassettes. I didn't have any on vinyl, but their peak at the time was their As Nasty as They Wanna Be album, and that's when they really got the attention of George Lucas. Initially, their record label and was called Luke Skywalker Records, and Luther Campbell was going by Luke Skywalker himself, and then eventually that As Nasty as They Wanna Be got attention from Tipper Gore, and some people went in front of Congress about indecency and stuff like that. Yeah, and then his next song, he actually, and he even licensed it from Bruce Springsteen, was Banned in the USA, was basically like a spoof of Born in the USA. And but he got a letter from George Lucas's attorneys, and then he became Luke. So, and then Uncle Luke. yeah, now he's referred to as Uncle Luke, but he's not much of a artist anymore. I think he's into other things. Yeah, good times though. We want some pussy. That was the first big hit.
Hey-o.
Can I just make a producer comment here? Matt Bandy's connection seems to have tanked.
It did. I didn't want to say nothing because
pretty bad
Kelly connection.
Well, I think maybe like it's really like we're getting like every third word or so.
It's choppy.
Really?
It's
okay.
choppy.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if you reconnect, like if you just go out, maybe reset some things and then come back in. It might
turn off your doorbell camera. And,
it might help. It might help.
Okay. I will see if I can solve that.
We'll see you in a minute, buddy.
Okay. I apologize.
No,
don't worry.
No problem.
Yeah, but Bill's half the time's choppy, so I mean, come on.
Hey, you're Mr.
Choppy.
Pixel. You're
Am I
pixelated.
Pixel? It looks great on my end.
You're 1990s webcam.
I think that's you.
Kevin, back me up.
My
webcam's been perfect. So that's all I know.
I don't know. I see both of you guys really clear on my screen, so I don't know.
All right.
Hey, I keep it retro, man.
What do you got for us, Retro?
Okay, look. So I'm kind of sad that Bandy's not here. And I'm not even saying this is a great band. I mean, I guess they had their time, but I literally love these albums. And I wish I had started picking them up every time I saw them, because you're going to see, and when I say the albums, I'm talking about the cover. What you're going to see is somebody who's completely happy with life, and somebody who looks like they want to be dead. And it's Captain and Tennille. And every album cover looks like this. Look how happy Tennille is. I mean, she's smiling. She just loves life. They got these dogs. And look at Captain. I mean, he just wants to die. And then even in the back, you think, okay, that's just the cover, the front, right? Oh, no, in the back, it's worse. Let me look at that man. Does that look like a man who's happy with Tennille? Like, he's saying, please shoot me. You know what I mean? And look at Tennille. She's just so happy and sweet. There's another album cover where they're like sitting in a living room, and the Captain's an asshole because he's like on a chair, and then there's a couch, and the dogs are on the couch, and Tennille's on the ground. And I can't wait to get those, because I'll show those in a future podcast, because or video cast, whatever you're calling this. I will find them all, because they're all cheap. They basically, you can get them for nothing. People are probably happy that you take the Captain and Tennille albums. They're in every thrift store. And I don't want them for the music. I mean, there's a couple of hits that are fine. Love Will Keep Us Together. I don't know if that was their biggest hit, but it seems like it probably was. But I think the only thing that's keeping them together is Captain doesn't want to lose all his money. The non-prenup is really the thing that's keeping them together. Does that look like a guy who's in love? No. Poor Captain. But anyway, so
I think they did break up, though, didn't they?
Maybe, but I'm sure it was after he probably had his lawyers figure out a way, because there's no way Captain is happy. I don't think so anyway. So here's another cool little album. Blondie here. I find it interesting that people who don't know, they assume that her name is Blondie, or that's the name, but it's the name of the band. I mean, obviously that's Deborah Harry, but some people think that she's Blondie. I watched an interview with them, and that was one of the annoying things that she didn't like, that people were constantly, like, when they would see the band together, they would ask where Blondie was. And she's not even blonde, for that matter. I mean, she's bleached. But I don't know if a little bit of interesting facts. She used to be a Playboy bunny before she was in the album, or before she was in the music industry, like an original at like the Playboy clubs. And there's also like an urban legend thing. I think one of the band members said it kind of as a joke, but there's reason to believe that the reason their name is Blondie is it was named after Hitler's dog. So Hitler's dog was named Blondie. Yes. So there you go. A little bit of tidbit. It has the original little sleeve there, jacket. I guess that's what you guys have been calling it, but it's shit. I mean, it's all jacked up. But it's kind of neat. Well, I mean, it has all the lyrics and everything on here, man. So if I want to learn how to seeing I know, but I don't know, then it's right here. So.
Yeah. You made reference to her last week too.
Did I make reference to Blondie last week? What did I say? I don't.
You quoted Fast Times, at which time he's got his arm around her stand-up, right?
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I guess. Sure. Okay, this thing don't want to go back in there.
I like that record. That's good times.
I like it too. It's got a couple of good hits on it. I mean, I can't say I know all the the filler songs because I'm mostly know it just for like, but it has Heart of Glass and a couple other ones that you probably would know. I don't know if this was their biggest album or not. Probably one that has
by far.
You don't think the one with Rapture was on there?
That was a big hit. I think that was
so I don't think that's on this. That isn't on this album, but still really cool though. Kind of neat. I mean, it has all their names and tells you who's who on there. Hey, see, Bandy's back. Good to have you back, buddy. So, little quick story because I can't just show you an album. I gotta actually tell you something. So one time I was in Las Vegas, right? And I like to go to Vegas a lot and gamble and drink and stuff like that. Well, this was at kind of the end of the night. I was done gambling and I ended up, we were staying, me and my buddy, we were at a different hotel. We were at the Hard Rock. And downstairs they had like a little, like a piano guy, right? You know, he's taking requests, you know, guy playing the piano, a little lounge singer. You know, you can basically ask anything, you know, he was hoping you'd come put money in the cup. So anybody who put money in the cup, their song went up the list, right? But if, you know, anybody else, if no one was doing it, he'd be like, hey, anybody want an album, you know, a song, just yell it out, right? So I just sat down there and I was like, oh, he's taking requests? And like, yeah. Whatever you do, don't ask him to play piano, man. So, of course, the second he asked what song I wanted to hear, I yelled, hey, play Piano Man. And this guy fucking lost it. I know more than Piano Man. I don't just sing Piano Man. There's so many other songs that involve a piano. The guy just freaked the fuck out. It was so worth it. Later on, I gave him a tip just for that. You know, so anyways, but this actually isn't on that album. But this is a Billy Joel record that I kind of like pretty well. It is interesting though on the back. I mean, is these his band members? These are some guys at a local pizza parlor. I mean, that's his band. Well, and then look at Billy. I mean, Jesus, had he slept before he took this picture? He looks horrible. Yeah. But you know, there you go. But it's a pretty good little album.
Would have been great if that story ended with the piano player being Billy Joel.
Yeah, now that would have been great. Sorry, but I'm telling you, the fact that this guy lost it made my night. That was so good. But he's got his little boxing gloves there because I guess he's a tough guy, and a little bit of the show notes back there. Album's in pretty good condition. I don't know about all the technical shit Bill talks about how many little grooves are on it or anything, but there you go. Maybe you guys.
So that's an example of a guy you could pick up now for cheap. Like Billy Joel sold so many albums; they're all over the place. You can just grab them for $1, and when he passes away, they'll be a lot more than $1.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or if he has some sort of something. I don't know. I wonder how Michael Jackson's records did when, like right before he died. Were they going down because of his pedophilia, or were they holding? Curious. Like Bill Cosby. You think Bill Cosby records will go up after he dies, or you just think,
oh no,
that's just the end of it?
Yeah,
you don't think there'll ever be some sort of resurgence?
No.
Yeah, everybody need the Bill.
I hope so.
Yeah, because Bill's got like 80 of them, right? Well, speaking of comedy records, here we go. I got some Steve Martin here.
Oh, very nice.
And man, this guy was a badass comic back in the day. I mean, he's still probably a funny guy. I follow him on Twitter. He still has a couple of good lines every now and then. But, man, if you didn't, I mean, look at all these little, you know, could you even get away with smoking all that nowadays? They'd probably say you're promoting cigarettes or something. But it's good. It's got some good, you know, jokes on here. I've listened to a time or two, I guess. I mean, more as a kid. We a friend of mine, his dad had a pretty good album collection of all comedy albums, and so whenever his dad would leave, we could sneak in and listen to some of them. One of them was Bill Cosby himself. I remember listening to that thinking that was the funniest shit ever. And I don't know, some of those jokes don't last, but I think Steve Martin probably holds up.
I haven't even seen that Steve Martin album.
Oh, you haven't? Well, I thought you were a collector.
I know. I haven't seen that one.
Well,
what's it called?
Come on. Let's Get Small. You know,
Evan, you seen that one around here?
Oh yeah, I have at the shows. It's not as popular as the one before it, where he's in the white suit on the cover. Right. That one's huge, but I think that one's the follow-up to it.
And here's one that I'm sure even probably this is probably one people know the most, maybe because of the little saying, the wild and crazy guy. On the back, he's got his little King Tut outfit.
King Tut.
That was another big song on here, I'm guessing. Pretty cool little fold out. Make a good little wall art, I guess, if you're into Steve Martin wall art. Which I don't know who would be, but just in case you were. And here goes that, and a little picture of him with his cat in the back. This was something I picked up. That's really good condition of an album, too. Right? So, something I picked up at a thrift store. They had a 2-for-1, and they were $1 a piece. So I got 2 for $1. Felt like that was a pretty good deal. Haven't listened to them yet, but I have heard them back in the day, especially this one, this Wild and Crazy Guy. That was pretty popular. I believe it was originally a Saturday Night Live bit. I feel like it was, but anyway.
You should really check out his autobiography. It's really good if you like that. He tells the story of those old days in the comedy clubs where he just died night after night. No one got it. Hey, and get the audiobook version because he reads it and it's really good. Highly recommend it. Yeah. Where are we at here? Oh, after Chris Roberts, we go to Kevin Buried on Mars.
Of course, yes. I always have to
tell us the story.
The flop sweat here. Oh my goodness. Well, I agree that with that Steve Martin book, autobiography, it's terrific. Just listening to him too, like living in his car, practicing the banjo before and after gigs. It's good. That's what you had to do back in the day. Okay, getting back to the AC/DC discography. I just wanted to go back a little bit, rewind a little bit, because I think we fast forwarded a little too fast. I don't even think we mentioned that this album here, If You Want Blood, is a live album for the most part. I actually did a video over on my channel, Buried on Mars, where I go in deep with the song "A Whole Lot of Rosie." The whole album, as far as I could tell, is live. Except there are some shenanigans with some of the background vocals that seem to have been enhanced a little bit. But for the most part, it is completely live, except for the one song, "Whole Lot of Rosie," where for some reason, I don't know, like the show, it's from a 1978 show in Glasgow, Scotland. And for some reason, I don't know if there was a technical problem or something with "Whole Lot of Rosie," but they decided, I don't know if it's the band or the producer, somebody decided that they couldn't use the live track, so they took the studio version of it and kind of stretched out like Bond's voice, so it plays a little slower, and then took some studio cuts, like the one that didn't end up on the album, like a first or second cut, maybe the third cut ended up on the official album, so they used a different cut. So Angus has a completely different guitar solo, and then they just threw crowd noise. And
the crowd is so good in that track.
Well, they're a little bit off. Especially at the beginning. But yeah, it was all added in. Had to have been added in later because it definitely wasn't what they played. But I go into it in depth in the video, so you can go check that out on my channel.
Yes. Oh, I've seen it.
Unless you want me to go in depth here, because I can, but I don't want to bore everybody, every minute detail. Okay, to get to some more fun stuff. Okay, so I'm still rewound back a little bit. I took my wall art down. So this is my original Highway to Hell that I bought in the 90s. As you can see, there's a little bit of road rash there. And there was a scratch on one of the songs, so that's why I wanted to replace it. So I thought what would be fun to do is to see what's in here, and then we'll open up this and see how they stack up together. I imagine there isn't too much of a difference, but so there's the cover and there's the back, and then on the inside. Now I believe this was a reissue from the early 80s. Yeah, at least this came out after the reissue of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So this probably came out in 1982, because this one came out in 1981. So might be from 81 or 82, but that's what you got on the inside. I actually probably should replace this because you got some all crazy access happening there. But if you want to see what the original label looked like, there's the Atlantic label, and it was in pretty good condition, a little dusty, but there was a scratch on side 2 there's somewhere that was really annoying.
I'm checking mine right now and see what's inside. Can't help myself.
There was some scratch in there. Anyways, that is what. So try to remember all that. Lock that into your memory. That is what the original looked like. As well.
Jesus.
So this is the brand new spanking new copy. I haven't even opened it yet. I remember now where I bought this. I actually, when I was in Sudbury last year for Record Store Day, the guy, he actually held a record for me for Bill, because Bill was looking for a Bob Dylan record that he'll probably show later. And the guy was so nice and so good that I felt like I had to buy something other than just Bill's record. So I thought, what the heck, I'll throw this guy a bone, and he had it reasonably priced, so I thought I could replace my old copy with a new Highway to Hell. So this is a reissue from 2003. They reissued all their albums on vinyl in 2003. And they actually did some nice things in there. They got that insert in there. Well, it's the record sleeve. They would decorate up the record sleeve. You got a bunch of words and writings and stuff. And it's got a nice, so you got the anti-static and you got both.
Wow, that's probably overkill in my opinion.
Well, you know what? and I'll take it because it keeps the record really nice. And that's the label on there, so pretty cool.
Does that say Atlantic on it?
Albert, Columbia. Yeah, they all been bought out and moved around so much.
Huh.
Yeah. So it says Columbia Records, Albert.
Columbia.
Yeah. Albert and Sons. Okay. So that's Highway to Hell.
Can I show mine real quick to compare?
Go for it.
Okay, awesome. Hold on. I skipped ahead here because I just had to see. There's mine.
Very nice.
Let's see. Got some stuff happening here. This looks.
You should put yourself on full screen there.
You need to see it full screen?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's that sleeve? Up here.
Yeah.
There's a sleeve.
Oh wow.
There's a sleeve.
Oh wow. A little
Is
underkill, but it's not beside it. No, look at that. It's in there.
Wow. Turn around.
Yeah. It's got
okay.
A little fold action there. That's kind of questionable. But
quick action. So it doesn't have this picture sleeve that yours had. So I wonder.
Maybe it's a 79er.
Let's see here. Well, it does say 79 on it.
Well, they would all say 79, but really you have to look at the serial numbers.
Yeah, the Matrix will tell you.
Yeah. Because the copyright date is always when it was when the copyright happened.
Yeah.
Give you a pressing.
Okay, in the Matrix, it says QSD 19244-3. It's got the presser's initials in it. I don't know. Do you got yours?
Yeah. I can't see what my matrix says.
If you go on Discogs, Bill, it'll tell you.
Or SFA. SFA 794325G.
Well, that's completely different. Look at this label. It's got a little chunk taken out of it. Weird. I think mine is like one of those super expensive collectors ones that people are looking for. You better put it back in its quick grab. Put that back. That's what people are looking for. Hey, we got to say hi to Trav of NES Friend and Polykill, who's in the chat.
My goodness, I'm surprised he's here without Jake here. I thought we would lose that audience.
Well, you got the big bandy pull, you know. That gets
that's right. That's right.
So, do you want to carry on, Kevin, or
I can do the same with Back in Black, or I can wait for the next round, or what do you say, sir?
Yeah, let's do a Back in Black off too.
Okay, let's do it. So here's my original Back in Black. We talked all about who wrote what in the last episode, and how right I am about all that.
Did we talk about that? I don't remember.
Oh yes. And the song tracking on the back is wrong again. They got side B and then side A. It's very weird. I don't know.
Is your front embossed?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in Black.
Say hi to Duke in the chat. Hey, Duke.
Duke as well. So
hello, Duke.
Definitely the original. That's what the original insert had. So you want to make sure you got that. And there's the old Atlantic label.
Oh.
Yeah. They actually, some of my friends that I have made online who were actually around when this album came out said that a lot of the original pressings for this were actually kind of, they were shipped warped. Got them warped, and they actually had, a lot of people said they sent them back. They sent Back in Black back. A lot of people got refunds, so yeah, I guess the record company didn't take the sales of this seriously at first. Okay, so here is a brand spanking new copy. I haven't opened yet.
Why did you feel you needed an update on that?
Okay, so my Back in Black has got that static problem with it. It just doesn't like it. It's a very crackly record. It just doesn't sound, especially like in the quieter moments when the band stops for a second. You can hear just a lot of crackling. So I wanted to upgrade it because I listen to it all the time. So that's why. So, and again, this was on sale too. So when it comes on sale, I'll grab it. I listen to it all the time, but yet I haven't opened this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here is insert. Everything is in black and white, no color on this insert.
Wow.
But you got similar artwork there. That was on the other. And this is a heavier album. I think this is 180 gram, this one.
Oh,
we got some scuff marks on there. Probably should have opened this sooner. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, see it there?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Stupid monitor. Yeah. But those scuff marks, they're generally not audible. I don't find anyways. But this side's okay. Just a little bit of dust on there.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Cool.
That's it. So that's what you get.
All right. Let's see how mine compares.
All right.
There's mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the raised lettering here and embossed here. And this is in fairly good shape, considering this spent like a couple years out in my garage on my garage record player.
Mm.
Is that the same lineup you were talking about?
Yeah.
And we have a maple leaf up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sleeve or no sleeve?
No sleeve. We should have bets, right? Just always bet no sleeve and you'll be fine. Oh, he's got one.
This has original sleeve too.
There you go. That's
Look at
good times.
Brian Johnson there
Oh yeah.
doing a pose.
Pose.
He's both.
And got all this. Is this the same as yours?
Yep.
Okay. And this is different though. Open this up. Got that Atlantic label on that one.
Interesting.
So where's Deke this week? He could be giving us the info, couldn't he?
He is one of the
pressings?
guys. Yeah, he's one of the guys that told me about that. How like the original pressings were kind of messed up.
Look at that. That's just the light doing that, though.
I'd say it looks like shit.
It's just the light.
Okay.
Well, I've seen Bill's garage record player, and I wouldn't want to put one of my records on.
Oh, come on. That thing's awesome.
Yeah. It's awesome if you don't like your records. If you want to see them have an early retirement, put them on Bill's garage record
Not
player.
true. Jealous. So yeah, there's our black and black off.
Yeah.
Going out of format here for me, jumping into the A's.
Who had the longer back and black?
Longer? What?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like a
What?
Yeah, I got to what you were doing.
yeah. Bandy got it. Bandy's got it.
All right. Matt Bandy's back. He's worked out his choppy problem, I think.
We all good?
I don't know.
Seems a little better. Maybe?
Really, that's so weird. Everything is turned off. This is the only thing running the internet right now.
Yeah, it's still choppy.
God damn it.
We can hear you though.
Okay.
I mean, the images are there, so go for it. Give us something.
Okay. If it gets bad or anything, just give me a holler. Let me know.
It's California burning.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the record I'm going to show here is by a band called Windhand. Windhand, this is I believe their third studio album. This came out in 2018. Windhand are a doom metal band from Richmond, Virginia, with a female vocalist who has an amazing voice. But what's interesting about this record, it was produced by Jack, I forget the guy's name, Jack Endio, I think, who he produced and worked on some of the Seattle bands like Nirvana and Soundgarden. He was a producer on that, and you can kind of hear a little bit of that sound in here, although with some of those Seattle bands and some of that kind of grunge sound borrowed from some doom metal elements too. So this record is probably my favorite of theirs. It's a very, very melancholy record, super fuzzy, just a really, really warm guitar tones to this record. It's kind of the perfect fall sounding record to me. Like if you could imagine you are in a forest and the leaves are changing and you're sitting by a campfire, this is kind of what that record feels like to me when I listen to it. But this is I got a gatefold. It's a double LP. The artwork on it's gorgeous. It's I forget the artist's name who drew this or painted this rather, but the version of this record I have it's on they called it a swamp green, but this was I believe the independent record store exclusive color vinyl for this release. But yeah, this band is great. This record got a lot of praise. A little bit of picked up a little bit by some bigger. They got a little bit more coverage than they had before. They're on a slightly larger label, being Relapse. As far as heavy metal records go, that's kind of a bigger label. But yeah, this is a great. It's a heavy record, but it's it's very slow. Bill, I think you might like this.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Nice. Yeah, it's some kind of heavy psychedelic. When I say psychedelic, I don't mean like the flower 60s kind of poppy psychedelic. I'm kind of more of the like Iron Butterfly, the heavier version of psych. But yeah, this is a great record. And
well, I did do some homework this week, Matt. I did listen to Freeways. Did you talk about that last week, or was that a few weeks ago?
Freeway was last week.
I like the musicianship, like the guitar stuff, but the vocals just kept drawing me back to like hair metal or something, and it kept throwing me off. But the guitar stuff, the riffing was great.
Yeah,
and then sorry,
no, go ahead.
And then YouTube threw up to try a band called Slow Burn.
Slow Burn, not familiar.
It's the guy. What was the guy's name? Something Garcia. George Garcia. He's from, what's it called? Caius?
Oh, Caius. Yeah. Caius was what eventually became, turned into Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay. Well, this guy did this band Slow Burn for like a year, and it was pretty heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. It was pretty good.
That's kind of that Caius and Queens of the Stone Age and Fu Manchu is another band from they called themselves the Low Desert Punks. Do you know what part of California that is, Chris? It's like down in like Southern California, but east a little bit. That's where all those bands are from.
Like
they call themselves
like
the Low
Victorville
Desert.
or
I don't know.
Palm.
It might be Palm, but it's like just this like weird desert community out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of those where those bands came from. But that's Fu Manchu. I think you might dig that band too, Bill.
Really?
That's from that kind of the same scene as Caius and Queens of the Stone Age, and there's another guy who I'm blanking on his name, but he played in Caius and he was a guitar player, but I forget his name.
Yeah, because in the comments, everyone kept saying that. I was just reading it as, "Oh, Jerry Garcia is amazing. I can't believe Jerry Garcia pulled this off." It's like, this does not sound like Jerry Garcia, but you guys keep saying so. I looked closer. It was George Garcia, I think his name was. So it was good, interesting, heavy, very heavy.
Yeah. One of my last trips to Amoeba Records, I picked up. This was Bleach by Nirvana, which is their first full length. This was the repressed by Sub Pop. I forget what year it's 2009 they repressed it. But as you can see there, this is the one that was produced by Jack Endio, who, like I said, worked on that Windhand record. But yeah, this is a lot different than their Nevermind the Breakout. This is definitely a more raw and has kind of more of that post-punk feel to it. See what I do when I get a a record that comes with a. So it came with this sleeve, but I replaced it. I got my own sleeve. That way, this wouldn't be damaged.
What? That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Smart move.
A little photo of the band there. I forget what the this guy here, the original drummer of the band, who was with them before David Grohl. But yeah, this record I go back to quite a bit and listen to. I did not listen to this when it first came out. I didn't, as far as I was concerned, when Nevermind came out, I thought that was their first record. But it wasn't until later that I discovered this, and songs like Love Buzz, Negative Creep, that's good stuff. So this definitely has more kind of that fuzzy feel to it, where they were, you can hear the influences of the Black Sabbath and 70s doom type stuff. Yeah, but yeah, it was a good record.
They were from Palm Beach. I mean,
Palm Desert.
Palm Desert. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the area those bands are from. I don't know. For some reason, I kept thinking Palm Springs, but that's not. It was Palm Desert.
Yeah.
Ironically, when I was a kid, you'd watch shows like I Love Lucy and all that, and for some reason, it seems like people from that era would go to Palm Springs to vacation. Mm-hmm. And when we were going to, when me and Curtis, a friend of the show,
name drop
for anyone who doesn't know, big time actor. Whenever we were going to Arizona for a gaming convention, we drove through Palm Springs, and that is a shithole. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? I mean, I guess it's kind of like one of those things where maybe it's one of those things that people don't go to anymore, so it's kind of died out. And I guess old people like it because it's hot. I guess it's people from cold areas wanting to go there. But in my mind, I always thought like Palm Springs must have beaches, and it's nowhere near the water. It's literally in the middle of the desert. It's like, who would pay to go to this place? There's no casinos or nothing. It's garbage. So don't ever go to Palm Springs. It's just a public service announcement.
Nice.
It's horrible.
Do you want to keep going there, Chris?
Yeah. Okay. So, it wouldn't be me on the podcast if I didn't go away from what the format is. But so the other day, man, this is going to make Kevin happy because I know how much he likes it. So, if you guys know The Thing, this is a great science fiction horror movie. Some people think it might be one of the best. It's very good. And I was very happy with this copy. And this lady, because I have like a search of ad for various items. One is like, hey, if you got any old horror tapes, hit me up. So she said, hey, we did a deal earlier in the week or a couple weeks ago. So she messaged me and said, hey, I found another box that has some tapes in it. And if you want it, you can have them. I'm like, okay, cool. She sent me a picture, and it has this one. Now, this is a first print, The Thing. And how you could tell, right off the bat, there's a couple of hallmarks. You got over here, the stereos. Here, let me take the tapes out so I don't drop them.
How is this music?
Well, there's music in it. So you got the stereo stripe there. You see that? See, it says stereo. So
nice.
That counts. Right, and like this is like a $30. This is like a $30 tape, man. $35, and it has like the old MCA logo. So, and the tape weighs a ton, dude. Look at like the difference between this tape and this tape. It's insane. It's crazy. But so that was a very good pickup. And I don't know how it connects, but I know that Kevin doesn't like VHS, so I wanted to bring it up. So back to the vinyl. This is a cool little band.
Oh, nice.
Devo. Yeah, and as a kid, the only song I really knew was "Whip It," and even as an adult, there's a couple other that come to mind, but really that's the only one that I enjoy. But they got their little Energy Dome hats on. And you got the back. It doesn't open up, but it does have a sleeve that has stuff on it, art and then it was a catalog. Yeah, on the back you can order stuff. Like you could order a button that has boobs. See? right there. It's pretty good.
Wow.
And you can get leisure wear. You know what I mean? Because you need your leisure wear. So that's kind of cool. And for some reason, I actually have 2 of them. I don't even know how, but I must have one. I don't know, but I got 2 of those. And it wouldn't be an album collection without a video game related record. And being that you were mentioning Garcia earlier, I was wondering if you were actually talking about Buckner and Garcia, and you got the Pac-Man Fever here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then on the back, instrumental. So they were truly the one-hit wonder. They didn't even have a B-side. So you got your A and B, and they're the same thing. And in case you wanted your Pac-Man Fever without the lyrics, you have your side B. I do need to get one of those little doodads that go in the middle here. I thought I had one around here somewhere, but I don't know. I don't have a ton of 45s, but years ago I went to Ohio with my grandmother, and I went up the street to a yard sale and got like a little case, a bunch of 45s in it. It's like Beatles and some cool tracks. But yeah, this wasn't one of them, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. I have a pretty solid 45 collection. You know, all the real collectors, they have all of them. You know, you don't just stick with just your 33s.
That's true. I got a bunch of 44s. You just reminded me, but they're out in the garage. They can't
44s? I'm not familiar with that format.
Yeah.
44s. Yeah. They're almost a 45.
And then since Bandy was on the hip hop thing earlier, here is the actual first cassette I ever bought as a child, and it's the Fat Boys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's actually a bootleg, so I mean, it wasn't even an official. And the way you can usually tell the bootlegs from the old cassettes was a lot of times the writing is a little askewed. Mm-hmm. You see how like the Fat Boys goes into like the prints off there.
Yeah.
And it's like that. That side looks a little better, but you had your tracks like Jailhouse Rap and Stick'em. See, that was a big hit. It had the Human Beatbox on here. The Human Beatbox had a weight problem. I mean, they all did because they're Fat Boys, but I believe he has diabetes now because, I mean, he has ice cream, soda, right? And he's wanting to eat pizza. And then for some reason, there's little miniature versions of them already eating the pizza. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but they are fat. Even though the guy in the middle doesn't look as fat, and he's not eating anything. So maybe the other guys took his stuff. Not quite sure about that.
That was the first cassette you bought?
Yeah, I bought this. I mean, there was actually
great.
two. There was actually 2. This was the first one. I bought 2 at the same time, but this is the one that I wanted, and I had a little bit of money left over. I don't have that tape anymore because it's one of those things when you lend it out and you never get it back kind of deal. But it was Roxanne. Which,
oh, nice.
I believe the name of the group was UTFO, but the song was the Roxanne song. It's kind of a big deal. Somehow they parlayed that song into like 10 different like sequel songs. I don't even understand, but at the time it was kind of cool. You get your little cardboard out and your little parachute pants, and you can break dance. You get your Alfonso Ribeiro had the guy from the Fresh Prince. He had you could order a VHS tape that would teach you how to break dance. Of course, I didn't order it, but just a little side note. I'm looking out for that tape, though. If I find that, if you got that tape, hit me up. Oh. CWR 2. Work out a deal.
I bet it'll be a great deal.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Just take a minute to thank everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I forgot to mention that. And if you did want to pop in, say hi in this show at any time, the link is in the chat. If you scroll up, you got time near the end here to say hi. Anyways, who do we follow Chris Roberts up with? Kevin Buried on Mars.
Well, thank you, Bill, for that buffer. It was like the MC coming out and calming the crowd down a little bit so I can build them up again.
There you go.
Well, before we get to my hip-hop collection, I just wanted to recommend to Chris Roberts a documentary I watched quite a while ago. It came out in 2004. It's called Plagues and Pleasures on the Salton Sea. and it's all about the Salton Sea and Palm Springs and why it was
Okay.
popular in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, really, and then why it tanked. But
I do want to, yeah.
It's hosted by John Waters, and it is fantastic. It is a fantastic watch, especially you, Bill, who likes urban exploring and that, because all the building and everything that they did there. So it's in a nutshell, what happened was they wanted to start building like agriculture they wanted to expand it in California, but it's all desert. So they made all these effort and everything to divert water to this area in order to, try to get some growing going, try to get some agriculture going. And what happened was they inadvertently made a big lake, which was awesome for everyone in California because you can't, you're either going to the ocean, which is packed, or, the rich elite snobs actually grabbed onto this lake and they bought up all the land around this lake. And now they had this exclusive lake out in the desert. The problem is that the desert had a really deep basin, and it didn't really drain properly. So it got sticky and smelly over 20 years or so, and the property value tanked. So
what's it called?
It's called Plagues and Pleasures on the Salton Sea. Basically, just look up John Waters. That's how I found it, because I was trying to rack my brains, trying to remember that documentary. But it was great.
Where did you find it?
Well, I watched it. I think I might have rented it, or I recorded it off a TV or something. I mean, this came out in 2006. This is 2004, 2006. So I might have downloaded it. I don't know. It was quite a while ago that we watched it. It's good.
There's also a movie called The Salton Sea where what's his face? Iceman. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. Val Kilmer. Yeah. Yeah, he's like a meth addict or something, and it's actually really good. So, little side note. I didn't realize the connection between the Salton Sea and Palm Springs, but it makes sense.
Yeah, Palm Springs is like right around the corner from there.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so my hip hop collection. Okay, we're done, and right on to the AC/DC. Okay, so Matt Bandy, this is a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really for anybody, but I think Matt Bandy might know the answer. What is the AC/DC's follow-up to Back in Black? Do you know?
Is it Razor's Edge?
No, it's not Razor's Edge.
Flick of the Switch?
Okay.
No, it's not Flick of the Switch. No.
High Voltage.
No. Okay. I'll let you guys off the hook. So a lot of casual fans. No. Still not, would say it is for those about to rock. That's what casual fans think. It's really not. What it is here in North America, the follow-up to Back in Black is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
That's the follow-up?
Yes, which is kind of
I love that album cover.
I hate it. That's like
I like the lines. I just think it's awesome.
This is a bit of an abomination. Because originally this album came out in 1976 in Australia with a completely different cover and a little bit of a different lineup. And they released this in Europe in 1976, again with a completely different cover, but with this lineup. Then when AC/DC took off in 1980, the record company wanted to follow it up right away. They said, hey, we had this record from 1976 that we did nothing with. Let's just throw that out, which kind of pissed off the band too, because they were busy working away on this, and the record company basically stepped in and released this. And with this cover. So that's why I like the dress is a little bit 1980s and not 1976 as well, especially the little brooch there on the old lady. That's what my grandma wore,
I had an Australian pressing of Dirty Deeds that I traded years ago. And the cover was a hand drawn. It was like Bon Scott, and his arm was this weird like
a Popeye arm.
Yeah, it was this weird proportion. And I honestly I couldn't remember if I traded that or I sold that, and I don't remember why.
That's the one album that I want the most. That is my
Dang,
white whale.
Oh man, if I still had that, I'd give it to you. That sucks.
I couldn't take it from you. I'd have to give you something for it because it is not a cheap album. It only came out in Australia and in the UK for a short while, from 76 until 81 when they came out with this, and then everyone switched to this, which was now the music on here is fantastic. Nothing against any of the songs on here. It's just it made some songs rare. That's why you had 74 Jailbreak and all that. I don't want to get into all the details or minutia and that, but basically, like Jailbreak was on the original album and it was taken off for some reason. It's not on this one, which is kind of stupid. Anyways, here's the one nice thing. This is one of the very few AC/DC albums with actual lyrics in them. Not many. I think this one and Ballbreaker might be the only two albums that actually had lyrics inside. Which, it's really helpful with AC/DC because sometimes for some reason you can't make out clearly what they're saying. And then you have your Atlantic label on there. That's the other side. Focus. There we go. So I should replace that sleeve. I think I need some sleeves actually now. Kind of run out. Need some outer sleeves too. This collection's out of hand. So I also never liked that pink AC/DC. They just hired.
Oh, really? I always thought that was cool. I don't know. It is very 80s looking though.
Yeah, it was some person that designed like other covers. I'm blanking on the person's name or where they. The other covers that they made, but they just basically hired, someone that they thought was famous that would do it. Anyways, I've always liked this cover. This was, this one came out in 1981. The bronze album. This album just has a bronze feel. Sounds bronzy. This is a reissue from 2003. It's got the embroidered or whatever. What do you call it? Beveled. That's the word I'm looking for.
Embossed.
That's the word I'm looking for. But this is one of the only ones too with a gatefold.
It's ribbed.
Not many AC/DC albums, if any, had the gatefold.
Oh, that's nice.
This was a huge seller for them though. They sold 1 million copies in 1 week. The week it came out.
What was the big track off of that? Was it just?
For those about to rock, we salute you. So this was the last album that they did with Mutt Lange as the producer. Mutt Lange apparently spent like 3 weeks trying to get the drum sound right, and it kind of pissed off the rest of the band. And they were like, "Okay, we're going to start producing our own albums now." And they never really were happy with the songs on it. It was a little bit of a disappointing album. They're trying to follow it Back in Black, which is pretty hard to do. But even like when they promoted this album, the any of like the videos that you got on MTV or that, they were all live versions, live tracks where the band had a little more control over the sound and the tempo of the songs. They're a little more slower on the album. The live ones are a little more upbeat. So, and this is a single for Let's Get It Up with a couple live tracks, Back in Black, TNT on there. Got a little bit chewed. Someone's dog had a tasty snack on there. This is the European version of High Voltage there, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, different cover. Those were all the albums that were out at the time. But yeah, this wasn't the best shape, but the price was right. I think this was $8. It's only a single with 3 songs on it, but it's got the 80s. But at least it's the better one. It's not the crinkly, anti-static. It's a nice shape, though. And there we go. And you can see there's the Sultans of the Sea. or whatever that movie's called. Plagues and Pleasures. There he's.
Oh, geez, I thought you came up with it off the top of your head.
No, I would have said something right away if it was off the top of my head. I had to look it up. What the title was. What's that? And I could keep going, Bill, or I could wrap it up there. It's up to you, sir.
I think we got to close her down here pretty soon.
We're getting at the 2-hour mark, right?
Yeah, I just got a couple to show, and then that'll be it.
Okay, I'll continue on with my complete AC/DC collection. Well, it's not complete, but my collection. This is preview.
Whoa!
Next week.
Are you saying you don't want no more VHS or?
Oh, I want all the VHS, Chris. Anything you can give me. Let's do it.
I do have a super rare photo mat VHS rental. Very hard to find. Guaranteed it's rarer than your AC/DC album.
Actually, I still have all my AC/DC VHS. If you want me to show that next week, I can bring that.
I do.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Bill will be pumped.
Yeah. Well, he probably. No, I wasn't going to say it. Let me just get these last couple out of the way here. We're in the B's now, and this got misfiled, I guess, because it's Ben E. King in the B's. Kevin mentioned all the Kings a couple episodes back, but forgot Ben E. King.
Yeah, he's not really blues. He's more R&B.
Yeah, I guess so. Stand By Me's on there. With the Drifters. Just take a quick peek in here. You guys wagering?
I'm going to say sleeve.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to no. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes.
I'm just going to stick with no. Those are the odds.
That's cheap. On Atlantic, too. That's really good shape. Ooh, a little bit of cat hair or something in there.
Pubic hair or something on there.
No, not mine. And finally, in the B's, some birds. Got some Roger McQuinn, David Crosby. This is a budget title. It's got the punch out. Got a name on there. Daniel Kemp.
How come BY is at the end of the B's? I thought we were going backwards.
BY.
Yeah, birds. BYRD. Shouldn't that be at the shouldn't we gone past already? If we're doing alphabetical?
That's at no, that what? That's it. Y is at the end of the alphabet. We're going backwards.
Right.
The B's.
Right. We're going backwards, all right?
Yeah.
So shouldn't we hit that first? The BY? Unless you got some BZ that I don't
know.
No. Okay.
I don't know which. Oh, what was your bet on this one?
Oh, always no.
No.
Yeah, always no.
Always
no on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, no way.
I did play the snot out of this. I remember that. Yeah, probably had one of those plastic staticky.
Those are better than nothing. They're better than nothing.
Hey, not when I'm burning through 1,000 records a night, listening like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I will show except for the preview of next week.
Nice.
I didn't even see what the heck that was. Oh, Bowie. Okay. I'm writing it down.
Spoiler. So, yeah, there we're at the 2-hour mark. Thanks to Dean, who popped in right at the end. Dean of Round 2 Gaming. And big thanks to Duke, Retro Nonsense, who's been hanging out and talking shit in the chat. It's been good times, him and Sauce. Duke did bring up Stuck in the 80s, and I will bring up how we haven't seen a new episode in a long time.
Another series I killed. That's good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm wearing my Stuck in the 80s shirt, too, by coincidence. There you
go. Nice. Very nice. So, I guess that's it, guys. Anything you guys want to conclude with before I cut you off?
Love you guys.
Oh, well, we like you too.
I have strong feelings for you.
Thank you.
I'm working my way.
I just watched Almost Famous last night again for the upteenth time in that plane scene where they're going down, and the one guy says, "I love you all," and then they all just turn on that one guy on Billy Crudup there, the guitar player, and just say how much of a pompous ass he is and everything. Great scenes. By the way, I forgot in that movie how Philip Seymour Hoffman holds up that Guess Who record, that live Guess Who record, and talks it up.
Does he?
Yeah, I guarantee you that was a big reason why that live album got a resurgence there in the early 2000s. He's wearing a Guess Who shirt, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best Guess Who album." You know, them doing American Woman on here is crazy. All this stuff. He's like, yeah, he really talks it up.
That deserves a rewatch. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it was good. Flew right by.
Extended version?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
it's almost 3 hours, but flies right by.
Good stuff. Well, that's it for looking through the record shelves, the vinyl collection, episode 9. We will be back because there's plenty more to do. I am in the B's. We got the A's, and then we got a whole giant shelf of the good stuff. Top shelf liquor coming after that. So lots to stay tuned for. Hopefully we'll have all of these vinyl pundits with us throughout that journey. We got Matt Bandy. He is a wandering writer for Pastoral Weekly. When's your next article coming out for them? He's gone.
We didn't say I love you back, and that was
What
it.
did you do?
Gone. Well, that was Matt Bandy. We love him. We do. And you can look for him in the Cartridge Club community. He does lots of stuff over there.
I think
Here's
he crashed. He crashed out. He was frozen there for a little while.
Kevin, Buried on Mars. This guy is a giant in the Blu-ray collection community.
Yeah.
It's an up-and-coming community that's taken the world by storm. Check that out. His freaking YouTube channel gains hundreds, if not thousands, of subscribers a week. I'm pissed like crazy that it happens, but congratulations to you on that.
It's tens. It's in the tens, but it's 10 more than what was there last week. So I'm happy, having a good time there.
You've been cranking out the videos, man.
Yeah.
Really,
well, I
rededicated back to the channel.
What's that? Sorry.
I said you've been rededicated, like you've rededicated yourself to your channel because kind of dead there for a long time. It really was buried.
It was, yes. But just pulling out the Blu-rays and talking about them and that just kind of re-energized me. Yeah, good times.
Okay, don't say anything. He's back.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Matt Bandy.
So I switched over to my telephone and I'm going off of the 5G or whatever. I don't know something's wrong with my internet.
That's so much better, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's costing you $5 a minute, but it looks great.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We were just saying goodbye to you and how much we love you. Everyone said it. And happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Kevin, he's over at Buried on Mars YouTube channel. He's on Twitter, Buried on Mars. We keep forgetting to mention Bandy's socials. He's on Twitter. What's your Twitter over there, Matt Bandy?
It's just I think it's at X Matt Bandy X. I'm on there every once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin's buried _ Mars asterisk or something.
_ Mars.
Yeah, he's big over there. Apparently he's big on Discord.
Yeah, Discord's huge, man.
He's got the Retro Fandango podcast. Check that out. He's got the Film Dango side of things. Him and Matt Bandy and Film Dango Retro regular Ramvox did an episode on the Conan series of movies. So check that out. And Chris, the Vinyl Legend Roberts. What a pleasure, my friend. What a pleasure.
Always nice being on with you guys.
I hope you served your fan well tonight.
I hope so. I hope she, slides into the DMs and lets me know what she thought.
Right on. Chris Roberts, he's a big time star in Instagram, so check that out on Instagram. CWR. And for myself, if you could hit the subscribe button, that would be amazing. And you can look for me on Twitter at STCPod. And this channel's got interesting stuff going on. We'll have the podcast recording on Friday. I've been putting up some rare live music tracks just for fun. I will have a collection video coming up. That will be my Bob Dylan CD, DVD, and book collection. That's coming very soon. So check that out. The vinyl stuff will, of course, appear on this show. And maybe I'll even do a response video to Buried on Mars and do a Blu-ray unboxing or something.
Oh, I look forward to it.
That.
You never know. You never know. Other than that, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll look for us next week. We'll be back at some point. See you later. Goodbye. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.